And welcome back. Goodwitch, or Good, I want to say Goodwitch, Goodrich. Um, a drama comedy, a comma. It's a comma. No, a dramedy, with Michael Keaton, Mila Kunis. I think it's Mila Kunis. I think is how you pronounce her name. I've always said Miley, but I think it's Mila. Mila Kunis, and I think there's like a couple other characters who are actors I recognize, but they're like the two main ones, uh, not including the kids. Michael Keaton plays a guy. I think he's supposed to be portrayed in his 60s. No, midlife crisis. 'Cause they make a joke about him being in his midlife crisis, and she says, "Oh, so you're planning to live to 120?" So I mean, the average life expectancy. Most guys hit theirs around 40, which is 80s. I would guess, yeah. I guess the joke is he's at 120, he's about 60, which at 73, he can still play a mid, like late, maybe late 50s is pushing it, but early 60s he can still play. Basically, he's an art, he's a dealer. He has a gallery, and he's kind of been so wrapped up in work he doesn't realize that his wife has been addicted to pills and goes into rehab, and he has to take care of his two twin 9-year-olds from his second marriage. Mila Kunis is his daughter from his first marriage, and it's the trials and tribulations of trying to deal with everything in this situation, and him learning to be a better person, a better father to both his eldest and his youngest. There's not much I can really say about the film quality-wise. I'm just going to move this over here just a little bit so I'm a bit more in the screen here. The long and short of it is, it was a good movie. Is it Oscar baiting? Is it, going to be in my top 10 films of the year? I highly doubt it. But I did not see the first Smile, so I didn't want to see Smile 2. And someone suggested this, and I'm like, I did kind of want to see it if I was capable of seeing it. I love Michael Keaton, so there you go. But there are definitely things to note in this movie. One, the performances are all solid. Michael Keaton and Mila Kunis specifically have some really good scenes together. This is definitely a dialogue-heavy movie because there's no action or anything. It's just family drama. And like discussions they have with each other are really good. Mila Kunis specifically has a couple scenes, especially one near the end, where she has, and you see it briefly in the trailer, where she's breaking down at him, and he's just trying to process this as best he can. And Michael Keaton's always great. He's Michael Keaton. There's a couple really good scenes with him. One involving him leaving a hospital that is really, honestly, it's subtle, but it's really good. And then near the end of the film, where he and his daughter are, finally kind of reconciled their issues to whatever degree, and him moving on with his life in some fashion. Like Michael Keaton's kind of always good. I've never seen a movie where he is bad. I've seen bad movies with him in it, but I've never seen a movie where he himself is bad. All the actors are good. The two twins are good. I believe them as siblings. He makes friends with a gay dad. There is a funny little awkward moment in this movie involving the two of them. And you know what? They do a good job at passage of time in this movie. That's another thing. I kind of forgot that time was passing. Like, oh yeah, it's Halloween. Oh, we're getting towards Christmas. And I realized, oh yeah, the mom's only supposed to be in the rehab for 90 days. So when she ultimately shows up again, I'm like, oh yeah, that time was passing. It doesn't make it feel, it's kind of impressive how it doesn't feel like a lot of time is passing when a lot of time is passing. So I think they handle that actually pretty well. And it's a story about relationships. It's and how we might have regrets down the road. How can we reconcile those regrets? Can we learn to be better even later in our life? So it's a good movie in that sense as well. I did like the movie. I can't say there's anything inherently wrong with the movie. I think the movie's got like a 62 or 67% last I checked Rotten Tomatoes. I've heard some people say, oh, this is a terrible script. I'm like, I don't think it's bad. Is it cliche? Absolutely. Is it schmaltzy? Absolutely it gets schmaltzy. But that's not a bad thing either. It's perfectly good for what it is. Is it like a, best, like I said, is it the best film of the year? No, it's not a best film of the year. Is it a solid film? That I've heard someone kind of when I was looking at the verified audience reviews say it was a good date movie. Actually, you can see this being a fun little date movie. It's not anything. It's not. It's kind of like the perfect middle ground because it is a comedy. It's also got a little bit of that schmaltiness in it. There's the family relationships. Good in that regard, absolutely. I don't really have much else to add. I will say there almost was no review for this because I got out of work yesterday. Oh, and now we're starting to lag a little because I pulled up list of trailers coming out. But I got out of work yesterday. I'm like, okay, I'm hungry. I'm starting to get a little headachy. Let me get something to eat. I got a burger. And I think maybe like the sugar from the shake I had wasn't a good idea. I probably should have just gone with water. But I get to the theater. I'm like, ooh, I've got a little bit of a headache going. All right, well, yeah. I'm weighing my options. Nah, I still want to see the movie. I can manage. And I'm sitting in the movie theater and I'm watching it. And it came in waves. Like at some points it was ebbing, some points it was flowing. But I'm just like, oh. There were points where I almost had to consider walking out of the theater. And so by the time I get out of the theater, I'm almost in full-blown migraine mode. I'm like, I have to drive, and I'm nearly gonna throw up. Like I'm queasy as hell. Like, oh god, like I am in full-blown migraine mode. But I have to get to my girlfriend's place to feed her cat. I'm like, screw it, hopping in the shower, hot shower, and immediately I'm like, oh, hot shower. You ever have a migraine? And we're on a completely different subject now, but you ever have a migraine and you just, you either need to sleep it off or need a hot shower, sometimes both. Like it's just like, oh, and you got that pouty headache, but the minute the hot water comes in and just rushes over, you're like, oh, I never want to leave this. Oh, this is heaven. That's kind of what happens. I've only ever had one migraine that was so bad that the hot shower actually barely put a dent in it. And then I had to lay down for like I literally had to got into work for an hour and then like, I have to leave right now or I am going to need to go to the hospital or something. It was that bad. I had to drive basically with a piercing pain in my head. It's been a while since I've had a migraine, so that was not fun to deal with. Regardless, what about the trailers? We got that Mickey 17 again that's coming out next year. So yeah, no, and that looks fun. I like that definitely. We got the Conclave again, the new. I can't actually hold on. Is it the Conclave or just Conclave? Let's see. I know it's coming out in November. Oh no, Conclave actually is coming out in limited release next week. Oh, I'm gonna be at Venom, so we'll see if I can catch that afterwards. I'm hearing that's Oscar worthy. We got Conclave, which actually looks really good, like I said. Let's see here. Here, the one with Tom Hanks and Robin Wright. Basically just telling the story of them in this house. Throughout their lives. So that's interesting. Let's see here. What else we got coming out? Or what other trailers did we get? I don't think we got. I'm trying to remember too because it was last night, and like I said, I had a migraine. So if I can even remember anything, I'm going to be impressed. Wicked. Got the trailer for Wicked again. Again, looking forward to seeing it. Regardless of the main actress's dumbass comments. Yeah, no, that she I don't know if you've heard about that, but she made some really dumb comments. Like about being personally offended by a fan altered photo without realizing that this is not her role. This role existed long before she ever got it. She's just the next person to inhabit this role. And B, it was clearly done by people who were fans of the play and just wanted to have some fun because fan posters get made all the damn time. So I'm still seeing it. I'm still looking forward to it, but get your ego in check a little bit, girl. That's really all I'm going to say. Get your ego in check. I can't remember anything else. I think we got like one. Oh, wait a minute. There was one other one. It had Jesse Eisenberg and one of the other Culkin brother, not Macaulay. And they're basically two cousins on a road trip. Their grandmother had passed, and they just had been kind of out of each other's lives for a little bit. So they're kind of road tripping through. I think it's like not Amsterdam, but Holland or something like that. I can't remember. But yeah, it looked interesting. I don't know if I'll be seeing it, but it looked solid for what it's worth. But yeah, otherwise that's Goodrich. I really just don't have a lot to comment on. Is there any negatives, I guess? Because I mostly spoke about positives. I don't really have any clear-cut negatives. Not just because of the movie, just because I say a movie doesn't have any negatives doesn't mean it's a perfect movie, or it just means I can't think of anything strongly that stood out in terms of a bad way. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow for the box office. The what if Deku hit Kurama? By the by, I think that my heroes are probably going to be going at about 6 episodes on average, give or take, depending on certain scenarios. Because honestly, I don't think I needed to drag out the last one as long as I did. Regardless, thanks for watching. See you next time. Later.